So I just picked up my new rifle. It's a Scar 16S. So this is the box it comes in, just a cardboard box. You would think for the price point it'd be something a little bit nicer, but oh well. So inside, 30 round magazine, flat dark earth. Instruction manual, some other papers, and a lock. Pretty standard. So here's the rifle. It's a nice rifle. I've been looking at one for a little while now, but I never got one because I had some other builds I was working on. So that's where all my attention and funding went. I put the charging handle on the right side because I shoot M1As a lot, and it's just kind of like the same AK M1A type deal where the charging handle's on the right side. Just my preference. But you can switch it to either side. I really like the coloration on this rifle. I like how like this is like a tannish green, this is like a dark brown, and you got like light tan over here. I just kind of like that. Looks cool. But this is also available in black. If you're not aware of these rifles, the stock does fold. You press in this button and it locks, which is nice. And then snaps into place. Seems sturdy enough. I heard some people complaining that it seems a little flimsy, but to me it seems fine. Adjustable cheek piece, and you can adjust the stock right here. It is ambidextrous, safety on both sides. Also with the mag release, it's right here and right here. Has a AR-15 ping pong paddle bolt release right there. Just so you guys know, this is unloaded, by the way. There's nothing in the chamber, nothing in the magazine. There's no magazine in the gun, so. Overall, it's a nice rifle. I do have a couple gripes with it. First off, I think the trigger on the Scar is actually kind of bad. Pretty bad actually for the price point of the rifle. To me, it feels like a rack grade AR-15 trigger. It's kind of gritty a little bit. So I think FN, they could have done a better job with the trigger. Honestly, I think the stock feels a little flimsy. The locking feels fine, it's just the stock itself just feels a little flimsy. The plastic that it's made of feels relatively thin. That's probably one reason why it's so lightweight. Maybe it probably won't be an issue, but I don't know, it's just something about the way it feels. They could have maybe thickened it up just a little bit, but then again, that would have added weight, so I don't know how they would have gone about that. Other than those two things, I think the rifle is pretty squared away. I like how easy it is to disassemble. In fact, I'll just do it real quick. You just push this pin in right here, like you would on AR-15. Disassembly pushes forward, and then you got the entire trigger housing right here. And this is the firearm, by the way, the upper receiver. Like on an AR-15 where the lower is the firearm. The upper is aluminum, and the stock just comes off like that. And then the entire bolt assembly can come out. And then that's when you can switch the charging handle when it gets to this point. So it's really easy. I wouldn't say it's easier than AR-15. I think it's pretty much the same. Then you just push the trigger housing forward or back a little bit, and then push this pin through like that. Really simple. I like the sights on this gun. You just push this tab right there forward, the sight pops up. It's a hooded front sight, and the rear sight pops up. One gripe, it's pretty small, but the rear sight, it doesn't lock in any position. So, I mean, if you're moving around with a rifle, it's pretty easy to knock it down. So it'd be nice if it locked up, but it's fine for me. The rifle came with this muzzle brake, which I don't know how good it is. I've heard really good things. It looks high quality. I haven't shot this rifle yet. I just picked it up. I was debating between this rifle and the Scar 17. I was having a really tough time finding either of them in stock, and you know, I like what I've heard about the Scar 17 on how minimal the recoil is for it being a 308. So I was looking forward to getting that, but one thing I don't like about the Scar 17 is I don't like the proprietary magazine. It'd be nice if it would just take regular AR-10 magazines, the Magpul P mags or whatever. That's one thing I like about the Scar 16, is that it takes just standard US GI magazines. There's no proprietary magazine that it uses. One thing with the P mags, the Gen 2, is that you'll have to file down this side of the magazine, because as you can see on the other side, it's kind of slanted, and that'll catch. And I'll show you actually. Well, even when it's loaded, this will pop up just a little bit because of that angle on the side. And I heard reports that over time it can actually damage your bolt. So you just have to file down that side, and now it's fine. So I think the Gen 3 P mags are fine. It's just with the Gen 2s. So just one thing to keep in mind. But overall, it's a nice rifle. I'm pretty happy with it. I am going to change out the trigger. Actually, I just ordered a Geisley Scar trigger. I'm going to change out the pistol grip. And probably going to put a EOTech on here. But other than that, it's pretty much squared away. Oh, and also, one thing, it's just a personal preference. I particularly don't like the safety. I think it's a little too bulky on the rifle. So I bought a Magpul one that I'm going to switch it out with. It's a pretty cheap part, and it's just personal preference. You may like it, but yeah. Also, I am going to SBR this thing. I just submitted my Form 1, actually, as soon as I got home with a rifle. And I'm going to get a 10-inch barrel assembly for it. So I'm looking forward to that. I mean, this is again just personal preference. I just think it looks a little goofy with this super long, thin barrel. So I'm looking forward to putting a 10-inch barrel on this thing once I get my tax stamp back. Hopefully that'll be soon. Yeah, so overall I'm very happy with it. I think it was a good purchase. I'm looking forward to shooting it. Yeah. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment or send me a message. Thanks.